Alright, Shalom, I'm back with another quick video. This one is just, I guess, me venting. I want to get this off my chest. I did a little bit this morning and I ended up in tears, in literal tears. And I had to stop and just gather myself because it's just so sickening and heartbreaking and ridiculous all at the same time. Um, and it really started, I was hesitant to do this video for months now, for at least like a month and a half, 2 months now, because first of all, I didn't want to like cry on camera. I definitely don't want to do that, but also I'm trying to get my hair to stay down, so ignore this part. But also because it makes me so angry. So I don't want to be crying and mad and maybe like yelling. Like, this is one of the few things I'll get seriously emotional over. But anyways, it started some months back with Devontae Hart. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Devontae Hart story, he is one of 6 children, whom I believe all 6 of them are from Hebrew descent, who were adopted by 2 lesbian Caucasians, and they killed the younger 3 children. They drove off of a cliff onto the beach. They crashed. All of them died. The 2 lesbians and the 3 younger children, and they have not found the bodies of the 3 older children. And what disturbed me so much is because I look at kids, I pretty much always have my whole life. I look at kids like our kids. I look at them like they belong to all of us. You know, the saying it takes a village to raise a child is very true. If we don't look out for one another, they will pick us off individually, one by one. And it's because we allowed it to happen, okay? So that, that aspect of it. I remember seeing a whole bunch of headlines and stuff like that about the kids being missing, and as far as I know, even up till today, they have not found the bodies of the oldest 3 kids, including Devontae. And like, because I feel like it could have been my child, not necessarily in foster care, but just the life that was lost. And he favors my oldest nephew a lot, which is my godson. And that was like, that's my little, I love that little thing. He's so precious to me. He really is. And I've always just had a really soft spot for little Hebrew boys. Like, I really have. Maybe because I had my brother with me so much when we were younger. I was always taking care of him, protecting him, and defending him. Like, and we're only, I believe, 5 years apart. So I was always very overprotective of him. And it's just in my nature from growing up to be very protective of children. So, because I'm the oldest of 4 children. So, yeah, when I found out he was missing and then I saw him, I'm like, oh man, like my heart was so heavy because nobody likes a child missing. And then he favored my nephew, and I'm like, oh man, this is so sad. But then I came across a video, and when I found out who had him, first of all, I was super pissed off. Um, and I was super crushed that those little children were murdered. And then I came across this video, and I'm not sure if I want to link it, but I mean, cause it's really super sad. I might though, I might. But basically, a YouTube vlogger, content creator. They do mostly, I believe, like celebrity news or something like that. But She covered this story of this child, or of the children, I should say, and she uncovered so much that I hadn't come across when looking into what was happening with his case and stuff like that. And it was some really like weird videos, really disturbing. Like it really set my spirit in like a really angry place, that these women had this little boy doing these things, dressing up as an animal in this little costume and dancing around in his underwear and stuff like that, videotaping it and having him hug all of these Caucasian males. Um, I felt in my spirit, and I mean, it's obvious, it's evident now at this point that the children were abused, because the reason they drove off of the cliff reportedly is because one of the neighbors called Child Protective Services on them. They came to the residence because they found out that the children were not being fed. I think one of the younger ones went to their house looking for food. They called Child Protective Services, and Child Protective Services went to the house. They did not answer. Once Child Protective Services left, they left with the youngest three children and drove off the cliff. And nobody has seen or found the bodies of the older three children. And that's 6 lives lost. Our people, children. And they make it so hard. You have to jump through hoops almost to get kids, especially for our people. It's easy access for other people, but it's hard for our people. And first of all, to have 6 children in need of a home is just like, and of course it's tons. It's so many more. It really is so many more. But them being there together, and being mistreated, like it just really burns me up. And I know I'm the type of person. I know how people feel about their children, their children, and whatever else have you. You know what? If you mistreat your children, you will be held accountable for that. You will stand before the Most High because of that. And people don't want others to correct their children anymore. I still do it. My husband still does it, okay, because it's necessary. Apparently, there's something going on that's not being covered. There's a base that's not being covered. There's something going on where your child needs some additional instruction in righteousness and how they're being brought up. If they're acting out to the point where somebody else, feels the need to say something to them. And we're supposed to discipline our children. And of course, there's a difference between discipline and punishment. But just looking at the things that this little boy was subjected to and how he was always crying, it is not normal. And I use that term loosely. But it's not common for a young boy age 10 to cry often, to cry a lot. That's not something they do. Boys are boys. They're, out playing. They can be a little rough. Of course, all kids are different. Children are different. Um, but to be in tears, especially while embracing a stranger, what does that say to you? Okay? What does that say to you? Because it says child abuse to me. It says to me that somebody did something to this child, more than likely sexually abused this child, and they are in duress. That's what it says to me. So, getting upset all over again. Okay, so that's been with me since the moment I saw that video. And I'm telling you, by the end of it, like I didn't get to the end. I was in tears. So many tears. I'm about to cry now. Okay. Um, it's just so wrong. And today I was on Facebook, and I just should stay away from Facebook. But I saw this video of these little boys, all little black Hebrew boys. Of course, they're not black, but we associate ourselves as black because we don't know any better. It's just a point of reference for melanated people in America, Israel. It had to be at least 10 of them. And a neighbor recorded this, and I got so mad. I mean, infuriated. Ended up in tears after watching the video. I couldn't even hardly comment on the post. I just had to just collect myself because in this video, and it was at least 10 little boys, they're outside supposed to be playing, but these little boys are humping each other in the behind, okay? They're grabbing hold to each other, dry humping each other, uh, pushing their penises in the other little boys' faces. And I'm like, who did that to those children? Where did they see that? It was so strong among them. It was only like one or two who was running away. The rest of them, I mean, if you could see it, it was so disgusting. I was ready to fight. And I mean like fist fight. Whoever the parents were, because I'm like, why does your child think it's okay to do that? Or let somebody do that to them? Those children are not protected. It's so many of them. It's so many of them not protected. It's not fair that they have to go through that. And my husband, he has two sons, and I pray for them so hard. And I thank the Most High that He's been with them all this time. But these kids, they are being tormented, they are being abused. And what in the hell are the parents doing? Like, how is this happening? Where are you that this keeps happening to our little boys? Of course, we know what happens to the girls. Nobody talks about the boys. And those are the ones who will be raised up to be the heads of the households for these little girls. They'll be the leaders of our community. But going off in this way, like, they're so destroyed already. And the oldest boy, and I'm not exaggerating, the oldest boy couldn't have been 13. Like, he couldn't have been 13. These are little kids. These are little boys doing it. All of these little boys in the street. And the person making the commentary, I was a little mad at them too. I was just mad. I was so mad because I'm like, why are you just watching this? Just letting it happen. Why don't you go out there and speak to those children? I mean, like, planting that seed would really, I mean, it could save them from that lifestyle. It could save them from the lake. Like, just plant the seed there. You sit up here watching and giving commentary about it. I don't care about your commentary. Like, go tell those children, like, no, you don't do that. Like, teach them better because they're not being taught better. They're not being protected. And I know some kids are, influenced by their friends. 'Cause don't think I don't know that. I know that as parents, we can't be around 24/7, um, stalking them and everything that they do. And I know, that sometimes things happen. But this, you telling me 10 kids and none of them, are rejecting it? None of them are just like, no, I'm not going to do this. Oh, I'm going to tell my parent or whatever else. It was just too much. It was too much. And I get angry first and then I get really sad because children are a heritage from the Most High, okay? They're a gift. And to see them being mistreated and so valued so little, like, it disgusts me. It is disgusting. And to know that so many of our people take on the idea of, don't talk to my kid, don't touch my kid, no one can discipline my kid, or I've had the reverse said about, oh, I'm gonna beat my child. And I mean, like, they were whacking the mess out of little children. I'm like, you don't know a better way to discipline your child. Maybe we need to establish some Hebrew parenting classes that may be necessary. But yeah, I saw one lady hit this little girl, and or was it a little boy? I can't remember, but the child was not even 4 years old, and she's punching the kid. So I walked towards her, and she's like, "This is my child. Can't nobody tell me how to discipline my child." I said, "Don't hit your child again. Not while I'm around," because I was, I mean, it's wrong. It's wrong. That you want to go and hit somebody, but you feel so strongly, you know what I mean, about protecting these kids, and it's just so wicked out here, and it's just so wild that these parents aren't invested in their children the way they should be. And I know, like, us 80 babies, especially mid and early 80s, um, it was a little different for us, but it definitely was not this bad. And the necessity of Proverbs 22, doing that video, like, was so important because that's a word that needs to get out to people. And people need to know you're going to be accountable for what you do to these children, whether they're yours or not. Like, because there are people who are doing things to children who, the children don't belong to. It could be family members, friends of the family, strangers, whoever. They're going to stand and have to give an account for that as well. In the meantime, we need to pray, and we need to fast. We need to cover these children, and we need to, like, lay these prayers up for them. Prayers of protection, prayers of guidance, that they be trained up in the way that they should go. Prayers that they don't depart from the truth of the Most High. Like, we need to lay up some major, major prayers for these kids, As much arguing as we do, as much time as we spend arguing about the name of the Most High, when the Sabbath is, when the feast days are, polygyny, and whether or not it's lawful, pants, whether women should wear pants, makeup, all of this stuff. As much time as we spend doing that, we need to match that time praying for our people, especially our children, okay? Because they take them out And then what? You know? Like, this is so much more than just our generation. This goes beyond us. Like, we have, like, there's a future kingdom to come, okay? There'll be rulers, 144,000 sealed. We, we don't know who those are going to be. I'm just, in my mind, I'm thinking that it's gonna be some of these youngsters, that's coming up, because we just don't know. We don't know. Everybody has an idea, but we don't know. Nobody knows exactly when anything's gonna happen. The scripture says so, so I'm not gonna argue with that. Um, yeah, like, whatever. I'm just so annoyed by it all, really, because I really hate this world. I hate this world. I hate this wicked world. I hate this wicked country. I hate all wickedness everywhere that ever existed. I hate it. And all it does really is push me to be more righteous, to live more righteous, and to influence more people righteously. Because, like, my little part that I do, most high willing, it'll have some type of ripple effect. Somebody else will do something else, and somebody else will do something else, and somebody else will do something else, and each one will get something accomplished. But we need to fast and pray. For real, we need to fast and pray. And I'll be maybe trying to put it out there, see if you guys are open to joining me in a time of prayer and fasting. I'll try to give notice in advance so that way people will be able to participate. But yeah, lay up those prayers for your children. Watch your children. Talk to your children. Communicate with your children. Know what's going on with your children. Watch out for your neighbor's children. I mean, like, it's nothing to look out for somebody else. We need to get back to helping each other. We need to get back to being community minded and not so divided and torn and wicked, and protect these kids for real. So I'm ending this video. I'll go ahead and look for that link so you guys can see what I was talking about. See why I became a crybaby for the first time ever on YouTube, and probably the last time, because I'm not about that life. But yeah, we have to do better. We all have to do better. So till next video, shalom.